Hello and welcome back to Mate's Tottenham blog, and to today's video reacting to Jose Mourinho's first press conference as Tottenham Hotspur head coach. This is going to be the final video in a few I've done over the last few days, kind of bringing us through this surprising change from Maurizio Pochettino to Jose Mourinho. Now at the start I wasn't too optimistic about this, but I do have to admit, from what we've heard from Jose Mourinho over the last couple of days, I'm starting to get really excited about the era that is ahead of us. There's no doubt it won't be as long, I suppose, as the one that we did have with Pochettino, but we've heard a lot of things from Jose Mourinho about a lot of different things, and I'm going to be kind of going through the key points from his press conference today, kind of touching on the areas that we have the most concern about given his appointment and what he has done in clubs in the past. I'm going to be touching on what he said about our style of play that he's going to implement at the club, transfers, and whether or not it is something he'll be looking to address this January or maybe even in the long term. Also the youth, the system that's in place at the club, and whether or not he does wish to utilise that, and also a bit more about him and the changes that he has made personally over the last 11 months since his last job in the Premier League. So I suppose to start off the way he did, I imagine at the very beginning of his press conference, he was asked a small little question about himself. But it was a moment of class from him when he made a point of just putting the question to the side for a second and sending a message to Maurizio Pochettino and to the coaching staff that he had with him at the club. He said, "I congratulate Maurizio for the work he did here. This club will always be his home. He can come whenever he wants. When he misses the people he worked with, the door is always open for him. From my experience, tomorrow is another day. He will find happiness again." So it's not something you see very often at a club when there is a managerial change like that. The first thing Mourinho said was complimenting, congratulating, and wishing the best to the man that he is succeeding at the club. It was a really good moment from him. It's not something we've seen from him a lot in the past, but it was a lovely way to start off the press conference. He was in a great mood. He was talking about his feelings over the last couple of days. He said he hasn't stopped smiling for 2 days, and he is, with regards to how happy he is with the decision he made and how that he thinks it was a good decision, he said completely 10 out of 10. He is utterly delighted to be at Tottenham Hotspur, and you can see it in the way he's talking in these press conferences. And he walked in with a big smile on his face, which is something we haven't really seen from the man sitting in that seat for quite a while now. We know Pochettino, his demeanour and stuff was really poor for the last couple of months, but we're back with a man smiling in that chair, and it's just strange that it is Mourinho, because even in the past he hasn't been known to be that happy character. But that's, I suppose, down to the personal changes that he has made, which again I'll be getting onto later in the video. Now the big one for me and for a lot of fans is the style of play that Mourinho is going to implement at the club. It was one of the first questions he did get in this press conference, and in no uncertain terms he said it's going to be the exact same from what we've seen in the past. He said it's going to be the same as before. Throughout the entire press conference, he was keen to kind of get the message across that he does want to continue the work that Pochettino has done at the club. He's not going to come in and make wholesale changes to the setup. I know there's going to be changes with the management team, but he's not going to be making too many changes in terms of the philosophy and the style of play at the club. He wants to continue the work that Pochettino and that coaching staff did do. And he said he wanted to add a bit of detail to the style of play. So, putting his own twist and things without making too many changes. And as he said, that can make the biggest difference, which obviously is great. And again, he said he didn't want to change the club. He just wanted to update it and bring it to the next level. So one of my biggest concerns was that he was going to undo all the work that Pochettino and co have done over the last 5.5 years of this club, because what they did wasn't just something for them. It was a project that created a basis for whoever came to that club whenever they left. Obviously that's happened now. Whoever came in could continue the work that they'd done. And personally for me, when I was looking at potential managers to replace Pochettino, I was thinking of men like Julian Nagelsmann, Erik ten Hag, Eddie Howe, who can build a project like that and are doing that in their respective clubs at the moment. So Mourinho that was one of the reasons why I was so against his appointment. But he does seem to be very convinced that he is going to continue that work that has been done at the club. It's just going to update things that need to be updated. Now, another big thing, and this is one that is slightly concerning me, is with regards to transfers. Now, we know Jose Mourinho has won everything there is to win everywhere he has been in the past, but that is, for the most part, down to the amount of money he has had to spend. Looking at the clubs he's been at, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, or not Bayern Munich, sorry, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, United and Chelsea, they've all invested a lot of money into his teams. And we heard, I think, just prior to the official announcement, when the clubs were believed to, or Tottenham and Mourinho were believed to still be in negotiations, Sky Sports said that Levy had promised Jose Mourinho a transfer war chest for this January and next summer if needed. Now, Mourinho said that he doesn't want new players at this club. So it's looking at the moment for January. Transfers in are particularly unlikely. And Mourinho again reiterated how happy he was with the squad. It's something he's mentioned in his 3 different media appearances so far in terms of the statement when he was appointed, his first interview, and now this press conference. He is absolutely delighted with the squad, and it is one of the main reasons why he decided to join Tottenham. And he started talking about what I imagine would have been during his time at Manchester United. He did try to sign some of the players that are currently at Tottenham Hotspur. Now, if we're to look back at the reports from the 2 years that he did spend there, you'd have to assume he is talking about Eric Dyer and Toby Alderweireld and potentially Harry Kane. But he did say that there were some players he didn't even try to sign because he knew it was going to be impossible. So maybe Harry Kane falls into that bracket. But it does kind of back up what he has been saying. He's been a long-term admirer of the players that are at Tottenham. And he's not just saying all these things about them and about the club because he is our head coach now. And he went on to say that the squad he's been given now is a Christmas gift, and he's looking forward to working with the players that are there. With regards to transfers out, being asked about Jan Vertonghen, Christian Eriksen, Toby Alderweireld, and Danny Rose a bit more long term and their contract situations, he has said he hasn't yet had the time to look at individual cases like that, but it is something he will find out over the coming days, the coming weeks. He's only been there for, as he said, 2 days. So he doesn't know what's going on with them at the moment, or at least he's not willing to tell us what he does know about their current situations. Now, looking at some comments he has made in the past, one particularly about Ian Robin during his time at Chelsea. He's basically saying when there is a player at the club who doesn't want to be there, Mourinho doesn't want to play him, and he said he wasn't looking at any economical situation. It was purely motivating a team and motivating a specific player to go out and do the job that was needed. And he mentioned, as I said, Ian Robin, who, when Mourinho was first in charge of Chelsea, he ended up selling to Real Madrid simply because Robin didn't want to be there. Chelsea didn't need the money. He was someone who was in their team and was good enough to be in their team, but because Robin didn't want to be there, he let him go. And that's a big change to Mauricio Pochettino's outlook on that situation, where he has previously said things off the pitch like contract negotiations and a player maybe speaking out about his desire to leave the club isn't going to affect his choices on the pitch. And you've seen that throughout this season with Christian Eriksen, something that has been angering the fans. But it does seem as though Mourinho does have a different approach to that situation, and we might see those players, if it is a case that they want to leave Tottenham rather than they had a falling out with Pochettino, we might see them falling out of the squad in the near future. Now, another big one is youth, and whether or not Mourinho will utilise the options that he does have at Tottenham. A lot of Tottenham players came through and made their first appearances under Mauricio Pochettino, looking mainly at Harry Winks and the development he's had under Pochettino. Looking at players that we've signed recently, Ryan Sessegnon and Jack Clark, but mainly that youth academy that we do have in place. Players like Troy Parrott, Jaffa Tanganga, Harvey White, who have been in and around the first team with pre-season and some cup appearances as well. It's something that really concerned us. Mourinho hasn't exactly been known for utilising and using youth players in the past, but he kind of reiterated what he said in that first interview with the Spurs official YouTube, where he said there's not one manager in the world that doesn't like to use youth players and develop them and make them the best they can be. And he said, again, both times, they're just some clubs don't have the system in place and they don't have the facilities in place to allow young players to come through like that. And that for him has been something that's held him back from using youth in the past. And he said, he's been very lucky to work with players like Scott McTominay at Manchester United, Rafael Varane at Real Madrid, and Mario Balotelli at Inter Milan when they were young kids coming through the system. And I suppose looking at them, where they've actually gone to now, Scott McTominay is one of the first names on the Manchester United team sheet. He's been doing really well in the midfield for them, and he's starting every game for Scotland as well. Rafael Varane, known as one of the best centre-backs in the world, only last summer won the World Cup with France and has won countless Champions Leagues with Real Madrid. Mario Balotelli may be a bit of an exception to that, given where he is at the moment, but he has played for some of the top teams, of course won the Premier League with Manchester City. So those few players that Mourinho was keen to mention, they've gone on to have very, very good careers, with Scott McTominay looking like he may have that, which is really encouraging. And he said some of the places he's been before, he has been lucky to have them, and if he does have that at Tottenham as well, it is only a good thing, and he'd be really excited about working with them. Now, the main kind of thing that many of the media outlets have been taking from this is I think it's a bit ironic. It's basically Mourinho talking about how he's had so much time. He's had 11 months to kind of think things through, and he's changed so much about himself and the way he will approach this challenge. Then he's saying it's not about him, it's about the club. So the media have decided to talk all about him and the way he's now looking at the club. Just take a few of these quotes off the Sky Sports website and their article called Jose Mourinho Turning Over a New Leaf at Tottenham. He said, "I think I am new and improved. I have to believe so. I always thought that these 11 months were not a waste of time. They were months to think, to analyse, to prepare, to anticipate things. You never lose your DNA, you never lose your identity, but I have time to think about many things. Don't ask me what mistakes they are, but I realise that during my career I have made mistakes, and I'm not going to make the same mistakes, I'm going to make new mistakes. I am stronger from an emotional point of view, I am relaxed, I am motivated, I am ready, and I think that the players felt that in 2 days, they felt that he is all those things in 2 days. I am ready to support them. This is not about me." In your career, not only your career but in your life, you go through periods, and I'm in a period where it is not about myself at all. It is about my club, my club's fans, my players. It is not about me. I'm here to try and help everyone. So a very different sort of attitude and approach than we've ever seen from Jose Mourinho. His first ever interview in England, he said, "I am the special one," and now he's coming out about this with his new philosophy, saying it's all about my club and me doing the best for them. And I do have to say, as I said at the start of the video, I was really concerned about this appointment when it was first made. But I'm starting to get really excited about this. And I know there's obviously still a lot of work to do, as Mourinho was saying. And even though it doesn't look as though transfers will be maybe at the level that would be needed for Mourinho to walk to the league title as he has done in many of his previous jobs, this is a really exciting time. And I think I'm not going to say I'm happy that we sacked Maurizio Pochettino, because I'm not. I'm absolutely devastated that he is gone. But this could turn out to be an absolute stroke of genius from Daniel Levy. Mourinho, already talking about trophies, said we're not going to do it this season, but there's no reason why we can't go on and win the Premier League next season. And of course, we still do have the FA Cup and Champions League to fight for this year. But mainly from what Mourinho has said over the last 24, 48 hours, I'm starting to get really, really excited about his time at Tottenham. Now, as always, don't forget to leave your comments down below, what you think about his comments in his press conference, but also your general feelings about the appointment of Jose Mourinho. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.